Good evening to the Board of Trustees, Dr. Asrani, cabinet members, and the audience in attendance. My name is Christina Royer, and I am Director of Student Services with Marysville Joint Unified School District. Thank you for the opportunity and time to be able to share the exciting work of our child development and special education departments. This evening, we will be presenting information related to two areas that include our Inclusive Early Education and Expansion Program grant project, also known as IEEEP grant project, and our Marysville Joint Unified School District with Yuba County Office of Education program transfer of preschool special education programs.
Good evening to the Board of Trustees, Dr. Asrani, cabinet members, and the audience in attendance. My name is Kathy Woods, and I am the Child Development Director for Marysville Joint Unified School District. The IEEEP grant has provided our district with an opportunity to build inclusive educational programs and services for our preschool students. It is important that we first highlight for you our why, the why behind this grant, and to highlight the reason that we felt that it was so incredibly important that we apply for the IEEEP grant funds. Our team of Marysville Joint Unified School District and Yuba County Office of Education, Early Education, and Special Education leaders maintain a strong vision for what preschool should look like for all learners. We feel passionately that all learners, regardless of their learning differences, should have access to and receive a high-quality, inclusive preschool experience in their homeschool community, where they may learn alongside of their typically developing peers. My compass has always been, as is the other members of our leadership team, that we should provide opportunities for all learners to have access to an inclusive experience so that they may learn with their typically developing peers. I asked myself, what if it was my granddaughter or my grandson that had a learning or a developmental difference? What type of program would I want for them? Our IEEEP leadership team is committed to developing a high-quality inclusion program for all of our Marysville Joint Unified School District learners, and the IEEEP grant has provided us with a plethora of resources to do just that. As noted in this slide, you will see that our IEEEP grant leadership team consists of a wide variety of talented individuals who represent various aspects of our inclusion grant, including early education administrators, special education administrators, behaviorists, psychologists, fiscal administrators, and support staff representing both Marysville Joint Unified and Yuba County Office of Ed. We are very fortunate to be able to also partner with the Supporting Inclusive Practices Director and Program Specialist from El Dorado County Office of Education. All members of our IEEEP leadership team are committed to providing quality inclusion practices for all learners.
In Marysville Joint Unified, we are in the process of increasing the opportunity for our students to learn together, with and from each other. Research shows that students of preschool age connect with peers, model behavior, including communication, and learn skills readily from one another in their environment. Additionally, educational code requires students with disabilities of all ages, including students aged 3 to 5 years, to be provided with the same learning environments that support students without disabilities, or what we identify as the least restrictive environment for many students with disabilities. Research shows that this inclusion supports skill development of all learners and overflows into the community of learners at large, encouraging acceptance and reducing fear and discrimination toward disabilities. When included with peers in educational environments, research also shows that students with disabilities are less likely to be suspended or expelled. This is an area of particular concern in Marysville Joint Unified and an area targeted in our compliance and improvement monitoring process for special education. Although we as educators understand the benefits of students learning in inclusive settings and with inclusive educational practices, historically, inclusion is difficult to provide for preschool students. Students with disabilities enter separate preschool supports, services, and programs through separate avenues than students without disabilities. The locations of preschools for these groups are often different, and these students are taught by different teachers with different qualifications. There is not universal preschool for all, and quality preschool programs for all students also benefit students with disabilities, it is shown. And as Kathy shared, we can all agree that we might feel strongly about inclusion settings as places of learning for our own family members. IEEP grant funding and other funding sources join with Marysville Joint Unified funding to give fortified financial support to transfer preschool special education programs from Yuba County Office of Education to Marysville Joint Unified School District. Marysville Joint Unified works within Yuba County SELPA's established procedures for the orderly transfer of program. Preschool-age students residing within Marysville Joint Unified attendance area will learn together in common environments. Special educators and preschool teachers collaborate in preschool of all preschool students. Programs join over 4 years of planning and working together.
Our IEEP grant award is an impressive almost $2.5 million. And with the combined Marysville Joint Unified School District match, our total investment in inclusive preschool programs equates to approximately $4.5 million. Our IEEP grant award is for a 4-year investment, and with the grant cycle running through December 2024. This robust grant award has allowed us to build a strong foundation in collaboration between Marysville Joint Unified School District and Yuba County Office of Ed to support our preschool learners.
New building and adapted facilities have been funded by the grant, as have materials and curriculum to outfit preschool environments. Already, grant funds have been directed to hiring staff supporting students and staff in Marysville Joint Unified and Yuba County Office of Education preschools. Professional development has been significant in the plan, and this new staff contributes to ongoing in-house capacity building for staff. The positions of current staff working to develop inclusion preschools and practices are funded to cover their work as well. Strength of the model project. Our project has received statewide acknowledgement, supporting inclusive practices grant funding, resources, and staff, special education early intervention preschool grant, beginning together West Ed with CDE. All of these have promoted widespread support and provided the ability for the braiding of resources, both financial and agency support. The IEEP grant covers development of inclusion preschool settings at Ella, Linda, and Olivehurst elementary schools. At Ella School, an existing preschool classroom reverted from a kindergarten through 6th grade learning center into high-quality preschool classroom is connected to the preschool, the state preschool, and designed to provide inclusion opportunities to all students. And at Linda Elementary, a new classroom has been built alongside the 2 existing state preschool classrooms to provide a 3-room blended setting designed for inclusion activities and areas. Finally, at Olivehurst Elementary, collaborative work with state preschool programs and preschool special education programs together on site is continuing to build inclusion into the already strong relationship between programs, adding joint staff, professional development, and planning.
We recognize that investing in our staff by providing a rigorous professional development plan will directly increase their depth of knowledge related to inclusion practices and effective teaching strategies, which will then directly and positively impact all learners. Our professional development plan for our Marysville Joint Unified School District and Yuba County Office of Education Child Development staff is comprehensive and rigorous. Our preschool staff have had incredible opportunities continuously throughout the school year to delve deep into conscious discipline through in-person trainings, in-person coaching with conscious discipline master coaches, virtual trainings and coaching, as well as multiple trainings specific to best practices related to inclusion. With the IEEP grant, we've also been able to hire a behavior analyst and 3 behavior technicians that provide an enormous amount of support for our staff as learners and are integral to the success of our IEEP grant and inclusion plan. Investing in and supporting our child development staff is a critical cornerstone to the success of our EAP grant as we move forward with inclusion for all learners. You will note the extensive hours that we have spent this year learning and implementing, and all of our staff are proud of their efforts and are committed to growing and learning alongside of their general education and special education colleagues to make inclusion happen for our students. On this slide, you will see the engaged members of the Yuba County Office of Education preschool special day class staff engaged in conscious discipline training with our master coach, Dr. Jenny Barkak. In this slide, you will see Marysville Joint Unified School District's child development staff that are actively engaged in conscious discipline. You will note also that this pandemic did not interfere with our ability to continue to learn as we just transitioned to Zoom.
Marysville Joint Unified is working within the Yuba County Special Education Local Plan Area, or SELPA's, established procedures for the orderly transfer of program from one local educational agency to another to ensure maintenance of quality and accessibility of services for students with disabilities. Within the program transfer process, the Marysville Joint Unified follows the Yuba County SELPA's established procedures, and the IEEEP Leadership team is analyzing staffing needs for the inclusion preschool, considering existing staff in both programs. Planning for transition of certificated and classified staff is part of the process for program transfer. Additional staff hired to facilitate the smooth transition include a behavior analyst and behavior assistants providing staff and student support in classrooms. Adding administrative support is part of the development of the inclusive preschool program also. What is to come and what will we continue to bring to the board? Developments in facilities and staff and more. Outdoor spaces. All 3 preschool play areas at these schools are being improved with pour-in-place surfaces under play structures, adapted swings are being installed, and communication boards are being added to promote authentic connections among students within their learning environments. Thank you for your attention and desire to know more about the important inclusion work for our youngest learners as we continue toward building a stronger foundation for equity, belonging, and student success in Marysville Joint Unified School District.